Well, good morning. Welcome back to the allotment. I've come down early morning before work. And for a change, it's grey, but it's quite mild. It's around 15 degrees, I say, the high today. So I thought I'll come down and do a few little jobs before I go into work. Gate were open then, I didn't leave it open. Did anybody notice on my last video, it had been miserable all weekend, and I came down and I put Lily's plaque out, and literally, as I put it out, about 10 seconds later, the sun came out for the first time in absolutely ages. Little signs like that, I believe in. Makes me feel good. Anyway, as you can see, all the bulbs that I found down in the compost bay, I did put in after finishing the last video. You can see they're looking a little bit yellow, but that's because they've been underground. So hopefully they'll green up and they'll pick up. What I've come to do today, or this morning, at least start, is, before I do that, I've got to get into this wood. I've got to get into this wood here and get this done. So I think over the weekend I'm going to get a new chainsaw, a chain, and beginning of next week, that's my mission, to get that pile done. I need to move all this timber here in the end one, and that can go in there. I still haven't completed the guttering. There's still a few pieces to buy, but it's been too cold, and there was no way would I going to be clicking those things on in that cold weather, stinging my fingers. I managed to get the third tomato bed done. Now what I do with these, as it looks now, they're like a hump, but what I do with them is the top, I put a board across them and I flatten them out. Then I lay the plastic on, and then I put in the tomato pots, cut them out of the plastic, and hopefully that'll warm all the soil up. I've got the lids on these raised beds because it won't be long before I start to chip my parsnip seeds, and then once they're up and showing, they go in one of these beds, and they get covered up and they stay covered up until the last frost. So it's quite exciting to be at that stage. As you can see, I've still got the edge to finish on this bed here. I might give that a go this weekend. Other than that, I think we ain't looking bad on here at all. We ain't looking bad. I still haven't raked the rest of this soil across where the beans are going to go. The garlic are looking great. Every time I walk past this structure, it reminds me I've got to firstly repair it and then build another one to fit on one of these beds, and then build another one to fit on one of the square beds. But I'm fine with that. I tidied this bed up here, moved all the rubbish off it, put a little bit of the compost on there, so that should be a bit of a powerhouse. Well, that rain must have been driving rain that we've had, because the whole of the inside is wet. I don't understand that. The roof's not leaking. That's a stain, is that? That's not wet. So it must have been driving rain. Alright. Well. What I was thinking of doing here, and it's just in my mind, but I'm going to have to make a decision on it because it's something that I want to be doing in the next month or so, is I was thinking of maybe putting a return here and just taking it up. So from there all the way down to the floor, we would build it out so it was a wall, and then what I was thinking is tucking the fire in behind it on that wall and taking the chimney out through the roof, and then you can be sat in and at least the heat's coming in towards the shed rather than here going out. Your thoughts are welcome as always. Right, let's get into the greenhouse. Before we go in, it won't be long before I'm uncovering the dahlias and putting those in a pot and getting those started, and then looking to take a few cuttings to replenish my stock. I can do that early because I've got plenty of greenhouse space to keep them protected from the frost. So, right, I'll have to put that on a little list. Right, so what I've come down today to do, or this morning, is just make a start on putting on my chilies and peppers that I brought down from the Super 7 at home. I brought these down yesterday or the day before, I can't remember. And germination rates on them have been really good. These were donated by Jimmy, the California Wonder, red bell peppers. I'm going to be doing those. Also, Frutella, have you heard me? That's a sweet. Frigitello. And these are some that I had spare that were in my seed box. I think the sort of running out date on that was June 24, but I thought I'll risk it for a biscuit, and germination's been really good. And again, there's a bronze that Jimmy kindly donated, so I'm going to try and make a start on potting these on. Now, every year I see a lot of videos of people starting the chilies and things like that under lights and all that, and I think I've said it past. Yeah, I suppose that's fair enough if you're wanting to get an early crop and you want to, but I'm not really that fussed, you know. And also, I've done it for years and years and years. I bring them down, I pop them on, but I make sure they're still under cover in these cold months, in a propagator, and I've done well. I think if you look back at some of my videos, I've done quite well with the peppers and the chilies down the years. So I'm going to make a start on getting these potted on. One of the key jobs that I'm going to be doing this weekend, if you'd like to join me, I think Saturday's the best day. I'll probably upload on Sunday, but Saturday's the best day. Sunday's supposed to be piling it down with rain again. I think one of the jobs that I've got to get done that I've put off is this greenhouse. So if it's fine, I'm going to try and get down early, get all this staging out, wash it inside and out, get all this out, and hopefully get it in a good state, ready for the season, because it won't be long. It won't be long before we get started. Right, leave me to do this and get these get this sieved, and then I'll come back to you. So I've got enough sieved here for there's a bronze, which I'm going to start with. How far on are you with your garden allotment preparations? Are you up to speed, or have you still got a way to go? I'm comfortable with where I'm at to say what I've had to put up with and what I've had to do. Right, let me just get my spectacles because my eyesight is not the best. Right, so these are the zabranj. Let's get these pricked out. Yeah, I'm getting a bit balled off with this constant weather. It's driving me insane. What I do with these is I plant them as deep as I can. So get them in there, give them a right good push down there. I think one of the difficulties is once you've potted these on and they get going, one of the hard things is making sure you keep the frost off them. I mean, they're fine while they're this size because they'll go in the propagator, not a problem. But when they start putting on a little bit of height, it becomes a little bit more difficult to keep them covered. So that's where the fleece comes in then. Although it doesn't really, it's not as effective as, oh dear me, it's not as effective as having them in a propagator where they're completely covered. There we go, drop you in there, drop you down, cover you over. There we go. And that's one. And then we've only got two, so should I use two of these? I think I will. Rather than filling a tray, these ones just degrade down and you can just pop them straight into the next pot in these without having to take them out, because when you water it, it just, when you water it, it just turns to mush. There we go. Not as deep as I want you there. Let's get it filled up a bit. Do your best not to touch these stems. I am really clumsy with the fingers. I don't know what it is. I've always had shaky hands, me. My dad had shaky hands. I've got shaky hands. Don't know why. Particularly if I go to try and pick something up. Somehow if I drop a penny or something like that, I go to pick it up, these quiver, it's weird. Anyway, I digress. Right, so that's the zabranj. So let's tuck them into this propagator here. Oh dear, that's going to be a bit of a problem because that does fit in there nicely. There we go. And that's one lot done. I'll have to just stick these in their own little mini propagator. Luckily enough, I've got a few. I bought these, they were in a sale when I went to Skipton in North Yorkshire. And I think I got, it's 3 of these trays go into one big long tray, like this. And I think I picked them up for, I think for 3, I think they were £4.99, which is absolutely spot on. Right, onto the Frigitello. See these little jobs? you know, half an hour before work. I mean, what time is it now? It's probably about 10 to 8, something like that. So it's just nice. It's just a nice way to start the day, I suppose, isn't it? You know, I do feel sorry for some of those people that have to go out and sit in an office all day. It's not my sort of scene. Having said that, I was back in my sponsorship days. I was based in an office, but the good thing about that was my office was in a council horticultural nursery, which anybody that knows Leeds was up in Redall. It's long gone now. It's been knocked down in the name of progress. Luckily enough though, Leeds City Council rebuilt and built a new one, which I think I've only been to once since leaving. I never worked there. My days were done before they'd actually opened it. But yeah, so I worked in an office, but it was fantastic. I used to be at work because I didn't want to get in traffic. So I'd jump in my van, I'd get to work. Sometimes I'd be in work for 7 o'clock. It's that long, 9. And I used to love it. Cup of tea. I used to walk around with the nursery manager, and we'd just have a walk around looking at all the plants. Leeds City Council have got a really rich history when it comes to horticulture. As I've mentioned in the past, Leeds City Council entered the Chelsea Flower Show Gardens as well on Main Avenue on many occasions, and were the first local authority, I believe, to win a gold medal on the show gardens at Chelsea. And I was very fortunate to be involved in that. As I say, it was the sponsorship element that I was involved in, but I've had some great memories of my visits to the flower show, and I might do a little video on that in the future, because it is quite interesting, you know, for the local authority to go up against some of the big names in design and to, you know, hold their own to the point of winning a gold. I can't remember now how many goals they got. I don't know if they had 2 goals. I think they got 2 goals in the end. But yeah, I might do a little short video on that and show you some of the commemorative pictures that I've got that were presented to all the staff that took part. You might be interested, so keep your eyes peeled for that one. Right, there's my Frigatellos. Let's get them in there. And a nice lid. One more. Oops, steady on. Right. And that one. Right, I'll get them over on the shelf. So there we go. That's the Zabronge and the Frigatello done. As I say, just a California wonder to do, and I'll do that later on this afternoon. As you can see, the onions are doing well. They'll probably be getting a haircut maybe next week. Just taking the tops off. As you can see, the fleeces at the back, ready for any frosts. I also have a propagator lid that I put on there. So yeah, oh, and I've got to clean up these leeks, the last of the leeks. So there we go. That was just a little quick update. You know, I do this quite a lot of mornings, just come down and do a little bit before I go into work. Yeah. And I will, as I say, on Monday, at the weekend, I'm going to try and get in here and get this sorted out. Above my head here, I've got all the bamboo canes. They all need to come out and give this a good thorough clean. I'm still baffled by that. I can't believe that the rain can drive all the way into the sun shelter like that. Well, I'll just have to keep an eye on it. Right, anyway, I'm going to get myself off. I'm going to have to go to work. Before I go, I would just like to thank Michelle's Kitchen Garden. Michelle, thank you very much. The seeds came through the post yesterday and they are now going to be put into my seeding tin and they'll be sown when they're ready to be sown. I will be using those cosmos and the lobelia for in and around the garden. So thank you very much, Michelle. Really is appreciated. And keep an eye out for when I start to sow those. Right, guys, have a great rest of the week. And hopefully I will see you at the weekend. And hopefully we'll have a bit of brighter weather and a bit drier weather. So until then, take care and happy growing.